All right, here we go. We are back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Real Talk podcast. Finally, episode 7, the long awaited episode. Sorry we took so long, but scheduling conflicts and other commitments kept us from making these episodes. I apologize. Thank you for holding out. Thank you for waiting. Thanks for supporting. Anyways, with me tonight, we got Al back from hiatus and doing Final Fantasy quickies with me. What's going on, bro?
Was that?
We got Justin back in the house.
What's going on?
In spirit, we got Ed No Side. He's just on the ones and twos tonight, but he'll be back for the part
Eddie
2
Money.
of this episode. And we got a newcomer. We got Smoking on That, Chrono Swisher.
Switch.
What's going on, dude?
What it do?
Not much. So tonight,
About time.
I feel like it's nice to have you on the podcast finally. Tonight, pretty much, what we're going to be talking about is bad movies. They're out there, people, and there are a lot of them. A lot of them. So let's get the ball rolling here. Pretty much tonight, we're just going to run down, at least one of movies we think are the absolute worst. And I want to start with the newcomer. I want to start with Chrono Swisher. Chrono, what's your movie, the reasoning behind it, and we'll go back and forth here and see if we agree with you or not.
All right, so my movie that I have, first movie that came to my mind was Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire. Pretty much, man, this movie for me it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I had my hopes up, was ready to see the third installment, went to the movie theaters,
That
saw
whole
it.
series, by the way, if I may interject, was
And-
disappointing, but go ahead.
It actually was a whole series. It was pretty disappointing, but just the whole emo aspect of it, like the Venom got to him, got to Spider-Man, and all of a sudden he turned into this little emo dude. I was just not
Tobey
feeling
Maguire
it
was
at all.
a very woe is me
Lackluster.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, that
Well,
series. Let's just, you know what? Screw Spider-Man 3. I'm going to include everything, all three of them in
all
that
three.
movie. But here's why 3 pissed me off, though, and I feel you. My main beef with 3 was the way that director and screenwriter, Sam Raimi or whatever, completely just made Venom, who is
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
arguably one of the most recognizable Spider-Man villains.
Oh man,
He wasn't
A
even the main
sub-villain.
villain.
Wasn't
in
even
the
the main
movie.
villain. He was Eddie Brock
A sub-villain.
Jr., fucking Topher Grace, that 70s show guy, was the fucking sub-villain. I'm like, it was an absolute insult if you're a Spider-Man fan. I love Spidey, and that Sandman, I mean, like, what? Like, it was just, I don't know, it was just
It was-
for what
It was Kate
supposed to be-
Terrible.
Yeah, if it was supposed to be the end of, a trilogy, it should have been a bit more epic, and I was really disappointed with it, man. I gotta say, that series sucked.
And Topher was a disgusting Venom, too. I wouldn't have picked that actor to play. What was it? Was Brock? That's his name, right? That's his last name?
Eddie Brock, but they
Eddie
made him
Brock,
Eddie Brock
yeah.
Jr. because he's so scrawny and all that, so.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the movie. I mean, it came out in 2007, right? But even then, as far as special effects and stuff goes, they could have did a way better job. They could have made it a lot darker, like how it should have been. A lot of the new Batman series, how they made it real. Like, yeah, this is how it really would
it's
be
just,
like.
It's just like, I mean, I was so pumped for that when I found out Venom was going to be in it, and I'm like, yes. And then you go and actually watch the movie, and it's
Yeah.
like Venom for 15
Oh.
minutes. I'm like, ugh, fuck.
Dude, and then Venom got to Spider-Man and he turned into like a little emo bitch instead of like being like a hard ass, Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It was
dude,
bad.
I don't know. I was very, very disappointed, to be quite honest with you, man. Like, I just feel like that whole series in general, but especially that movie, though. Actually, I'm not going to lie to you. I think the second one was okay, probably the best out of them all, with the whole
Just remind me, because this was a while ago. The second one, who was in the second one? That was
Dr. Octopus.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
And
that
the
one
first
wasn't
one
too
with
bad,
the Green
but-
Goblin and all that.
Oh,
was,
Yeah, it was pretty decent.
Not to mention
Shout out to-
James Franco. I like him, but I don't know. He was really lame in that series. He's still very stoner-ish to me.
He
know?
always is.
Hey, Pete. Hey.
I can't take him seriously. He always looks high. Even that's why I can't watch Oz because I'm like, yeah, he's doing.
I don't
some
watch
shit.
Oz, by the way. Like, speaking of bad movies, but
I didn't see it.
it wasn't. It was horrible. Ugh.
Nothing I wanna. Not interested.
Any other reasons why you want to throw that out there, Swish?
Man, that's pretty much that's pretty much it.
I'm gonna take over here. I'm gonna be second because I know Al has something special in store for us. So I'm gonna try to give him as much time as we can.
It ain't special. He's just gonna piss everybody off.
It's pretty special. I mean,
he's just gonna piss us all off, and we already know it.
I'm gonna throw mine out there. One of the worst movies I have ever seen, and I really wish Nunez's mic was working for this. I mean, that series in general was pretty weak, but Too Fast, Too Furious.
No,
dude,
awesome. It's so good.
Horrible, and here is why. Number one, the acting. The acting was absolutely terrible. You got Paul Walker and Tyrese, who are supposed to be these like friends or whatever, but their on-screen chemistry just isn't there. And you have Paul Walker trying to act, wiggerish or whatever, and it's just like
you don't like those frosted tips?
No, this is horrible. And you got Tyrese there.
No,
I can't take him seriously. Let me finish. All right. You got R&B singer. I know he's supposed to. He's an actor as well, but like it's just so bad. Like it's just not believable or whatever. Like they have this history that you don't really believe, he does anything for a woman or whatever, and we hungry when the fucking police guy is eating, his food or whatever, and it's just like, and all the scenes when they're in the car or whatever, not to mention the special effects weren't that great, but the story was just complete shit. And I'm gonna bring something up here. One more, let me get this on my chest. When they're on the fucking cars and they're like. They're just talking, they have their little catchphrases like, when Tyrese in his car is like, Romy rules, I run these streets or whatever. I'm like, what? Like, you just moved to Miami, like, how do you run these streets? And I don't
and I'm not going to say that. Come on now.
The whole ludicrous, twist in there and that girl, that Asian chick with him and that Asian guy who, stereotypical Asian guy knows how to work on cars or whatever. I don't know, just a big...
That's hot.
I don't know. And you got Paul Walker there trying to act up.
Don't hate.
Forget about it, could. But whatever. No. Forget all that stuff. Here's where the story for me falls apart. Eva Mendes. She's hot. I'll give her that.
Uh-huh.
She's in that movie she was going undercover, right?
Right, yes.
Going undercover, okay.
She's with the gangster lord or whatever.
Yeah, but she was with him for how long? For at least over a year, right?
A year, I think?
I mean, what dedication? She didn't turn in that year? I mean, she's fucking the guy. That's dedication. I mean, she must have been getting paid a lot of money. I don't know. To me, I found it to be like sort of a plot hole. I was expecting some sort of betrayal there that she, sort of developed some sort of Stockholm syndrome where she identified with the fucking captor or something like that. I don't know. I was just really disappointed with that story in general, and I don't know. It's just
I will be.
It was just corny. The catchphrases and the lines were poorly delivered. Calling the fucking fancy looking Miami guys Fabio and all that. I don't know.
But this was this movie was made in an age where frosted tips were cool. So
it doesn't even matter. The first one was better than the second one. That's the only good one, by the way.
No. Oh no. Tokyo Drift was badass.
Tokyo Drift was absolutely horrible too.
No. That's all backstory. No.
No, hold on. What do you?
Tokyo Drift is good.
Don't you mean Gaijin? Fucking country hit guy ends up in Japan, and that chick. Where did that chick come from? Half the movie she has an accent. The other half of the movie she's from Australia.
Maybe.
Hey, that's true.
Little Bow Wow. Don't get me wrong. I hate that guy. Number one, he's like this just non-relevant character. And, like they're all like buddies and stuff. And like, oh, now you work for me.
Okay.
And
maybe I'm
hold
a little.
on. Let me finish, dude. You got me going here. It's like. I don't know. It's just like this fantasy world that doesn't really. They glamorize the racing culture. That it's like this group of cliques, and you go out and rob cars, or you do stuff, and like there's Yakuza. It's like it's not even like that. I don't know. It's just I know it's supposed to be a movie and it's supposed to be a story, but they're not that good. They're not that good. And Too Fast, Too Furious is the epitome of bad movies because, like I said, the acting is horrible, the story is horrible. I can go on forever. To each his own, but...
Can I go?
You know what that movie's saving grace was, in my opinion? Out of all of them?
What? The chicks.
It did not contain Michelle Rodriguez.
Yes, she's also a bad actor. Yo, Dom! What's he doing here?
Oh my god. She's coming back. She's coming back in the sixth one.
She already came back. She died and came back.
No,
That's a cool story.
She comes back in the sixth. You don't learn until the end of Well, okay. The third movie takes place after all of the Fast and Furious movies. 2 and 3 were the worst of the series. 2 was the worst of the series.
Yes.
And what I didn't understand was they had.
It.
What I didn't understand was they have 1. They did the first one, and then they went into 2, which I didn't like. But it was still,
he's getting in trouble over a female, Brian.
But it went a completely different direction from the main story. So that's why I didn't like it. 3 takes place after everything, after all of the Fast and Furious movies, even after the new one that's coming out in a month. So I don't know why chronologically they did that. It should have gone like 1, 4.
Because they didn't.
And
here's
5.
why. Here's why, Justin. They didn't think they would be able to milk the series as much as they did. So. They make 3, think it's going to be a trilogy. That one's successful. Oh, hey, we could probably milk some more. Let's add some pre-story to this or whatever. And that's all it is. Like, let's keep on making bad movies about race car. I mean, is that culture even still relevant? I mean, I remember back when they were first out, everybody was all about getting, spoilers on their whips or whatever, candy-coated paint and all that shit. Is that even still around? I don't know.
Spin it.
I don't want to spin it.
4 and 5, 1 was good, and then it kind of like fell off. 4 is good, 5 is better. I'm ready for 6. I like it. The Rock's in it now.
Yeah, I think I'll pass. I mean, the last one I saw was that 4th one.
Watch 5. 5 is the best. 5 is the best.
And I'm like, I couldn't even believe I saw that one. I saw it with Nunez and KP, who we used to clown Too Fast, Too Furious all the time or whatever. And we made a fucking outing of it because we thought, here we go, we're going to be able to make fun of this fucking movie or whatever. And it didn't disappoint. It was still,
5 is the best. 5 is the best one.
I don't know if I could sit through it.
Can I say one thing?
Because it finally brings all the characters together for the first time. Like, it's kind of starts to, like, you can kind of see it starting to take off, which is why I'm excited for 6.
All right, Swisher, go ahead.
I just want to say, well, just in regards to the whole series, man, like, the reason why I personally felt like it was an okay series to watch was because I knew what to expect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't, expecting this in-depth story with all these, dynamic characters and shit like that. Like, okay, I was just watching the movie.
That's absolutely fair. Sure.
And so it was just okay to me. I didn't think it was absolutely terrible, but like, if we're rating like an actual, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was a good movie.
You gotta watch it all the way through, though, is what I'm saying. We all watched Spider-Man all the way through.
I love Tokyo Drift. I don't know. I mean, yeah, like, everything you're saying is true, but Tokyo.
Yeah,
my favorite parts of these movies is when they're all at the meets and you see all these bitches just scantily clad. That's like probably the only reason why.
Yeah, they act like that shit happens. I've been to fucking street races. It's sausage fests. It's not this like.
It's
maybe it's like that in Cali or or JP or whatever. But I don't know, man.
No, it's the same.
He's called Japan JP. You racist son of a bitch.
JP Henry. Anyways, that's all I had to say about that, man. That's
you gotta watch it all the way through. Watch 5 and come back to me. That's all. Watch 5 and come back to me. Please.
Why is the cop over here?
Hey, all right.
The
Watch
Buster
5 and
came
come
back
back to
me. The Buster kept me out of jail. The Buster, shut up. Get out. I'm tired of this shit.
Right.
Sorry, I could quote that movie all day. Oh, what about Ja Rule in the first one? No, Monica, Menage. I just fuck that guy. Anyways, sorry.
God, I'm like having fucking deja vu with yippee.
No, fuck that. Anyways, enough about that. Now we're gonna come to the point here where I think maybe
this is where we're gonna get pissed off.
Don't know about the rest of the listeners or the rest of the my podcast brethren here, but the Dark Knight series. I'm gonna take a little poll here real quick before we begin here. The Dark Knight series. Can I get a show of hands or voices
yay
on
or nay?
who thought yay or nay if you thought it was a good series? Swisher, yay or nay?
I'm gonna go yay on this one.
Justin, yay or nay?
Yay.
No side. If you're with us, man, type that shit out. Yay or nay? Good series. I know it's yay for him.
He says yay.
All right, there we go. For me, that's a yay, no question. Right. I mean, I talk about a great revival to a series that was destroyed by the bat nipple, by fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, everybody chill, ice puns. A series that was destroyed by fucking...
With the Penguin and
it turned
Jack
Batman
Nicholson
into a joke or whatever, instead of this...
Dark Knight.
Dark. It was dark.
Exactly.
That's how it originally started. You know what I'm trying to say? That's what it was all about. So, and it was critically acclaimed. I mean, and I know that doesn't mean much to some people, but I mean, it's overwhelming consensus. Those movies were fucking awesome, and I am very fucking interested to hear. Oh, let me bring it full circle here. Alvarion, Al, says that the Dark Knight series, I don't know if he's referring to just one movie or the actual series in general, he considers bad movies. And
A nay.
Sir, please explain yourself, because I am
The floor is
curious.
yours.
The floor is yours.
Burn him at the stake.
All right. Well, you went on talking about just now Arnold Schwarzenegger and his use of
Everybody
ice.
chill.
Exactly.
Everybody
And
chill.
I'm not saying that the other Batman movies are better or worse. However, in recent memory, I will say that Christian Bale further cemented the joke that Batman is.
Here we
this
go.
is painful to listen to already.
Let's go.
Touche.
As Bruce Wayne, he was solid. I believed it every step of the way. As Batman, I wanted to choke his ass out.
Is it the voice? Is it the voice?
Why?
It's the voice.
You can't say the voice because that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it is in the comics.
Gotham deserves.
They never pinpoint in the comics that he breathes like he's been going through throat cancer for the last 15 years. They never say that he talks
that it believes.
with guttural sounds. They never say this.
He deepens his voice. He hides his voice.
I've always known and heard that he deepens his voice, but okay.
There's different ways of deepening your voice. I mean, I can talk like this.
And you sound like you've just
It
been going
sounds
through throat
retarded,
cancer.
doesn't it? It does sound retarded.
Wait a second. You can't tell me you did not nerd yet. I know I do. At the end of the first one, Batman Begins, when him and Gordon are up on that roof.
The first main villain's the Scarecrow?
Hold on,
Please,
wait a
keep
second.
going.
Let me finish. At
Go
the
ahead.
end of Batman Begins, like I said, if you were listening, when Gordon gives him that calling card or whatever, talking about the Joker,
yeah.
and they're at the bat signal, and this is, alluding to the future of the series, and Gordon goes, I never got to say thank you, and he goes, and you'll never have to. That to me, dude, I get goosebumps every time I watch that scene. I don't care what you say. None of those other movies did that for me, but please continue.
Okay, so moving right along with the Christian Bale bat voice. I will give Heath Ledger the absolute props that he deserves in performing the best Joker iteration we've ever seen.
Yes.
I agree.
Agreed. I can agree on that.
Making the second film the best of the three.
I agree
with that.
I agree with that.
However,
here we go.
Christian Bale's bat voice got worse.
Hold on, is your beef with the series the bat voice? Because I don't feel like it's a relevant argument, but okay.
I think it totally takes me out of it. Totally, the entire
Come on.
2, 4, 6 hours of the movies.
Come on.
This is like this for fucking 6 hours. It's fucking annoying.
Well, see, Al, this is the thing, because as a viewer, when you're watching the movie, of course, we know that Batman is Bruce Wayne, right? So we hear Bruce Wayne's voice, and then we hear Batman's voice, and we're like, what the fuck is this?
Okay, okay, hold on. No, I know where you're going. So let me throw this wrench.
Oh, Superman, but go ahead.
Yes, right? This is a DC comic. This is a DC comic series.
Speaking of bad movies, man, Superman.
All right, we'll get into that in part 2.
But if you're going to go and tell me that his whole thing is a facade to cover up that he's Bruce Wayne, that's why he wears the mask.
Well, I mean, it has
no. You'd figure his voice out. Are you kidding me? You would
because Batman he's a political figure too, so he's dealing with some of the same people that he deals with as Bruce Wayne.
And Bruce Wayne is such a well-known figure. Anybody knows his
he
voice.
Needs to talk with guttural sounds.
He can't talk in his normal voice.
What would you suggest?
If you can deepen your voice, it doesn't need to sound like you've been smoking for the last 40 years. There are ways of going about it.
Right. Okay, but keep going.
Okay, so the third movie comes out, and I'm pretty excited. I'm like, maybe this is going to be good because Bane is awesome. And Bane had a horrible portrayal in the other movie.
Let's preface this real quick. Yes, he did, by the way. Bane in the comics is a genius. Let's not forget that. Yes. And he's one of the first people to figure out that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Right.
But let's keep going.
And I'm completely content with his portrayal.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
even though he didn't put the mask on for the reasons that he...
I went to that movie and I was excited because I actually like Bane as a character. And the way that I saw them portraying him, I was like, oh, that actually looks really cool. So I thought maybe the third movie would have been, quintessential to this whole series and a good ending. His voice, again.
Sean Connery.
Christian Bale's voice.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta bring it back, son.
No, there were times when I was sitting in the movie theater that I was begging for subtitles. I wanted because I couldn't understand what he said. Especially at the end of the movie where he's in the bank or whatever, that building, and where Bane ends up getting blown up, which was a cheap kill.
That was a very cheap kill.
Stupid. But he yells something that later when I watched the movie and I had subtitles, I was like, oh, that's what he said. Because you couldn't understand a word he was saying the entire scene in that stupid bat voice, which by that point in time, Bruce Wayne knows that he knows. So why even fucking throw that voice in there to begin with? You should be talking normally.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So you know what? You got me.
You don't like Anne Hathaway's Bane kill?
The worst Catwoman I've ever seen.
No.
Halle Berry.
What?
Outside of Halle Berry.
Hold on a second.
No, Anne Hathaway was good.
I disagree. Anne Hathaway was good. She was perfect, actually.
She was.
But go ahead.
But that's just a side note, because I really couldn't care less. Now, let's flash back 21 years ago when I was playing on my computer, and I was playing a game called Diablo. Now, people are like, what does this have anything to do with Batman? And I will tell you it has everything to do with Batman. And the reason it has everything to do with Batman, because for 21 years, or 20 at the time the movie came out, I've been playing those games. And for 20 years, Deckard Cain, other than the hero, is the main character in that series, other than Diablo, obviously.
He dies in Diablo 3. Spoiler alert.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Now, what if we haven't played Diablo 3?
Now, for 20 years, I've heard Deckard Cain speak to me in his old ratchety voice.
In your dreams?
Just through the game, through the story, and the way he talks. Now, that's exactly what I thought. Now, if any of you have ever seen or played Diablo,
he's not incorrect here at all.
Always stay a while and listen. And that's exactly what Bane sounded like the entire time. So again, not only am I getting pulled out because I can't understand a word Christian Bale is saying as Batman, but then you have Bane coming in and he sounds like this ratchety old man from Diablo, and I can't take him. I can't even take the movie seriously because I'm literally gasping for breath while watching this movie, and I can barely see what's going on through the tears of laughter the entire time I hear this guy talk.
Yeah, you're right.
They're expecting one of us in the wreckage, brother.
I could have done without the Bane voice. It was pretty.
You know what? I didn't mind the Bane voice personally, but the whole time I'm watching Bane with that mask is, how does he eat? But that was just me, dude. I don't know if you guys thought the same thing. Listen, I can understand where you're coming from with the Bat voice and all that. I don't know if it's enough to warrant the whole series being ruined. I don't know. I mean,
but my point is, it got exponentially worse as each movie came out.
Here I am.
Now I'm going to talk like Batman. Like that's
this needs something to believe in. I don't know.
I couldn't, and it was detrimental to my enjoyment of that movie.
Oh man.
However, as an aside, the worst movie I have seen in recent memory was the movie Tree of Life. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this. This was this Sean Penn, Brad Pitt movie about family and life in general. There is a solid 15-minute gap in this movie where they are flashing all of this imagery of like the universe being created, and then the Earth being created, and then dinosaurs, and then the killing of the dinosaurs through the meteor, and all sorts of nonsense, and it's completely silent the entire time.
Really? That's...
Like, there's no sound.
It's supposed to be
whatsoever.
one of those artsy movies that only certain people get or whatever. I can't stand that type of bullshit. You know, like... I don't know. I don't mind a good artsy movie, but I mean,
it was
when they
the most pretentious movie I have ever seen in my entire life.
That's the word I was looking for.
This coming from an art school student, School of Visual Arts, Manhattan. I can appreciate art. I understand. I look at it. I mean, one of my favorite painters of all time is Jackson Pollock. So when I see movies like this, it just seems like they're going so hard. They're trying so hard to be like this.
Yep,
and then like even like the dialogue was like so disjointed in the movie, and I was like they're like not even like subtle nuances where you're like, oh, this could have, you know, a double entendre, you know, there could be, you know, double meanings to some of these things, and oh, let me, you know, further expand this, you know, and you know, really think about it. No, they force you to say, hey, there's other meanings because we're telling you that what we're showing you isn't really what we're trying to tell you, and it totally takes away from what you're trying to watch.
So it's for the Starbucks crowd. You know what kind of crowd I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely. That hipster generation. And I even dated a girl at the time who thought it was the most beautiful movie she'd ever seen, and we ended up breaking up. But,
I know the type. Trust me.
But it was, to this day, like, below the Adam Sandler movies, below the Pauly Shore movies. I mean, this was quintessential, like the worst movie I'd ever seen.
All right, you know, all right. Let me jump in here. I got a bad movie for you all.
All right, let's hear it.
Because I just was flipping through the channels the other day and I saw it and I forgot all about it. How about that movie White Chicks with the Wayans brothers? That's a good movie.
Awesome.
Tell me you did not know those were black men dressing up as white females.
Though. Black people love that movie. White people, probably not so much. I feel like... Chrono, do you like this movie?
Oh my god.
It's because you're black, that's why I'm asking.
Those are the worst two looking females I've ever seen.
So
yeah, like, it's just not believable. I don't know, I understand it's supposed to be a comedy.
It's not supposed to be. It's
a Wayans
Brothers movie. It's foolish. It's a foolish comedy.
But it's just, I just can't take it. I would never watch it. It's not a movie I would go to the movie and watch.
Everybody thinks that they're the sisters.
It's not
the Terry Crews. I freaking love Terry Crews.
Oh, who's that? Is that who the big buff black guy is? That's after the one. That's after one of them. Oh, and he's licking his lips every time he sees her and shit. No, just no.
Hilarious.
It's just gross.
I don't know, man. For me, at least, I don't know. I feel like those movies, and I avoid them like the plague. It's like, you know, the scary movies and all that. You know, all those movies and, you know, those stupid spoofs and all that, blah blah blah.
Yeah, well, you know what? Some movies that people didn't like that I actually enjoyed. I like the Rush Hour movies.
Hey, those were actually funny though. That's
right.
I don't know if we needed a Rush Hour 3, but Rush Hour 1 and 2 were fucking hilarious. I mean,
especially the fuck. You know what? One of my favorite parts about those movies was the friggin' like bloopers at the end. Like, he's so fucking funny.
Yeah, he's great. Like when he falls off the building and he goes,
"Hey, he ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3.
He ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3."
Yeah.
It cracks me up.
Yeah.
Anyways. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this episode up, part 1 of the bad movies. But there's gonna be a part 2. We're gonna make a list here of some more movies. We're making this kind of quick and stuff like that. But because I really wanted Eddie involved in this one because I know he has a lot to say. But I want to thank my guests, Chrono, Justin, and Al. This has been episode...
We're mainstays. Come on now.
You know what I mean. Shut up. This has been episode 7. We're back, all right? The Bad Movie episode 1, part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/podcastrealtalk. Check out all our videos there, all our previous episodes, all our sports quickies, all our gaming quickies. We're also on Twitter at twitter.com/podcastrealtalk. We're also on Facebook as well. Check us out, like us over there, facebook.com/realtalkpcast. We're on iTunes as well. Make sure you go over there, rate us, download stuff, leave us comments, troll us. It's all gravy. If you ever want to come on the podcast, please feel free to message us on the YouTube channel or on Facebook. We'll be glad to have you. If you want to offer different opinions or come debate us on anything that you don't agree with, whatever, it's great. We'll welcome that. It's awesome. Spread the word, share, like it, whatever. We appreciate you listening. This has been the Real Talk Podcast, Bad Movies, Episode 7, Part 1. Take care.
Ad Astra.